What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Red, White, and Ruthless, forged in the cold of Orchard Park, Sean, powered by the roar of the Bills Mafia, and driven by the belief that this is our year. Let's get ruthless in here, my friend. Let's get ruthless. It is time. I'm subbing in for our good friend, Mr. Brett McDurphy, the Golden Boy, and both Sean and I sincerely hope he gets well soon. So we miss you, Brett. He's not going on IR, so hopefully we'll see him real soon. Maybe in the post game this week, but for sure next week, depending on how he feels. Joining me, coolest man I know, Mr. Sean Kula. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Oh man, I mean it's been a while and it's just been you and I. Can't remember the last time it was just you and I on a show. Do you remember? You have a better memory than I do.
Mm, I think we did something a few weeks ago,
A few weeks
but I
ago,
can't.
just you and I?
I think so. Close to the beginning
Hmm,
of the year, maybe.
maybe. Okay. All
Oh,
right. Well, let's
yeah, we did a. No, it wasn't just me and you, but yeah, I think we did a couple weeks ago.
All right. Well, I'm happy. I'm excited whenever we get to do a show with you or Brett. But Brett, get well. Cody, thanks for joining us tonight. Yeah, he is questionable with a week-to-week tag. There he is right there. What's up, Brett? Supporting the channel, even though he's not feeling the greatest. Good to see you out there, Brett. Um, so, Sean, let's talk about some big news related to the players of the Buffalo Bills. Big news. Safety, Taylor Rapp, placed on IR today. He'll be out for at least 4 weeks. And who's going to be opposite of Cole Bishop? I'm thinking Mr. Cam Lewis gets the start, my friend. That's what I'm thinking is going to be there. What's your thoughts?
Well, first, McDermott came out and said, "Oh, he had a nagging knee injury from training camp."
Yeah.
So then it's like it took you 6 weeks to see him regress and play because of an injury. To think, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't play him." Again, I always say if you play anyway, I can't give you any grace. But if a coach sees it and then puts you on IR because he knows that your play's been bad because of your injury, they probably should have did something sooner. But I think maybe Poyer is going to start. I think, like I told
No,
you guys
come on.
earlier, I think all those guys play. I think Poyer plays. I think Cam Lewis plays, and I think Jordan Hancock play a little bit. I think it's just going to be see who's been the hot hand during the game. But you know, Poyer can be a general out there. So
Well, we'll make a bet on this after the show. I rely on our lads a lot. Our lads has Cam Lewis as the starting safety. I don't know where they get their information, but if anyone's earned it on this team, I mean, look, Poyer, a little washed up. Love you, Jordan, but
yeah, yeah.
Cam Lewis has been all over the place. Special teams. Where's Strike Reviewer tonight? I would love to hear his take, but we'll see. That's going to be interesting. I'd love to hear what the chat thinks. Who's going to be that starting safety next to Mr. Cole Bishop? Um, let's see. Other big news: defensive end Michael Hoyt makes his debut with the Buffalo Bills. Sean, first time after being suspended for the first 6 games of the season for violating the NFL's policy on performance enhancing drugs. Also joining him, I don't know how lucky we got. We got super lucky this year, didn't we, in the offseason? Making his debut as well is defensive tackle Larry Ogunjobi, also suspended for 6 games for violating the NFL's performance enhancing drugs. Dude, talk to me about how this is going to change the game for the Bills on that defensive line. Is it going to change?
Yeah, so first of all, it's funny because in all these big sports like baseball, especially football, all these guys take PEDs in some way, shape, or form. They just got caught doing it, but I think especially Hoyt coming, he could play all over the place. So I think if they use him properly, it could throw some offenses off for a few weeks, and we can really do some cool things. Ogunjobi, obviously, it's nice now because Jones is out, so we got another guy, veteran, stepping in who had a decent year last year. Isn't like a superstar or anything, but I think it could just be a new face where offenses don't know how to play him right away, and I think it could definitely make an. They both can make an impact, at least the first few weeks coming back.
Yeah, I love that. It's perfect timing. Um, Another big news, more big news. This is the most exciting so far. We all knew Maxwell Hairston's 21-day window opened. He has been limited in practice all week. There's a chance he might see the field. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not going to be in there full time, but he might get to see the field, getting some tune up for the Chiefs and for getting ready for the other big games coming up the rest of the year. But how exciting is that we finally may be able to see our first round draft pick this year, cornerback Maxwell Hairston, my friend.
Yeah, definitely exciting. Again, it's still, I feel like this year is a wash for him because he got hurt. So no matter what happens, unless he's like really good, it's always going to be, oh, he was hurt. You got to give him next year, see how he does. Um, but I hear a lot of people talk about him lately, and a lot of people say, oh, he'll probably play against Miami, or let him rest for a couple more weeks and play him against Miami because we don't want his first game to be against Patrick Mahomes. But then it's like the reason why we drafted him was to play against the Kansas City Chiefs. Like that was literally the only reason, because he was fast. And we want to keep a fast corner on these fast receivers. So if you purposely hold him out and wait till Miami when Jalen Waddle probably won't even be there anymore, it's like you're either not confident in the person you drafted first with your first pick, or you don't think he's that good. Because when an injury happened in July, it was told it was only a 2-week injury, but they were playing it safe. So here we are, in October, middle of October or end of October, basically November, and you're still reluctant to play him. I don't know. I don't like that the mentality. I would make him active for this game, play him a little bit, get some reps, because what he's doing in practice isn't going to make him ready for playoffs or for a big game. Only playing in the game is going to make you ready. So, and if he's not ready by now, because he's had all this time to study the playbook and see where he has to be, watch film, and if it's not good enough at this point, then I think it's another miss.
All right. So tell me, Sean, the over under. If the over under is 10 snaps, he sees the field for 10 snaps. You taking the over or the under?
Yeah,
This game.
yeah, I would say over.
Take the over. All right. If it's the over, I'm calling it right now. He gets a interception his first game as an NFL player. I'm calling it now. It's going to happen. Let's go.
We need something like that.
We do. And I agree with you. Like, get him out on the field ASAP. Get him some real playing time. So let's see what he can do. I'm not saying put him in there for 60 plays. Get him in there for, if we're saying over 10, somewhere between, I don't know, 10 and 16, somewhere around there probably. So exciting news right there. Finally get to see this young man. I'll be disappointed if he doesn't see the field at least for a little bit this year. Let me go through the other injury news for the Buffalo Bills. We got Terrell Bernard. He was limited in practice all week. He is questionable for the game. Daquan Jones is out, as you already said. Dalton Kincaid, he's been limited in practice all week long. He is questionable. Matt Milano has been limited in practice all week long. He is questionable. Josh Palmer is out. Taylor Rapp, we already mentioned, got put on IR. And it looks like Curtis Samuel will be back in the mix. He was a full practice on Friday. So interesting stuff there. Hopefully we can get Samuel and Kincaid. I know we haven't really seen much from Samuel. It seems like dude can't step on the field without getting injured. But we'll see. What do you think that changes? Just getting Dalton back if he plays. Milano, we know. Milano, I just never know. That pec injury has been up and down for him. It seems like every time he flexes just a little bit, he goes off the field because that pec is hurting him again. So, but if they both return, both Milano on the defensive side and you got Kincaid on the offensive side, throwing a little Curtis Samuel, that's pretty good. Pretty good thing to have back, Sean.
Yeah, but the thing is, how it's all about how Joe Brady uses the offense and uses the players he's got. So, it's nice to have Samuel back. He hasn't done much since he's been here, but the only game he played this year, he scored a touchdown. Obviously, we didn't win the game; it was a Patriot game. But yeah, he can make plays. To him, it might be a revenge type game because he played in Carolina. Joe Brady was OC in Carolina. McDermott was in Carolina. So all these people were from Carolina. So they should have juice and energy going into the game. But at the end of the day, the last couple of weeks, nobody's looked comfortable Josh hasn't looked comfortable. He's looked lost out there, doing the film with the O-line. He's really putting everybody in a bad position, the O-line, the receivers, which is uncharacteristic of him from last year and in the first 4 games. So I think if Josh can be comfortable where the offense is what he wants it to be, not what maybe, McDermott or Brady want it to be, then I think we'll start seeing what we think we should see. But if it's him going against his will, doing things he might not want to do, even though he's been told he can check out of stuff, he's given 2 plays. And if he doesn't like either of them, it doesn't matter what he checks to. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm interested to see, because we have all these decently talented receivers, but it seems like they're all out of place. And then, the offense just looks really bad right now.
Yeah, so you brought up a couple of good points. McDermott was the DC for the Panthers and then was promoted and hired by the Bills as the head coach. However, Joe Brady was fired as the offensive coordinator back in 2021. So revenge game, get right game. You have no better motivation to get it right this week, because you're playing your team that fired you, prove them wrong, and get this team back on track. So I'm excited. I think there'll be a little extra juice. They've had all this time. Sean, they should be able to come out of the gates a fire in here. We'll get into some stats in a little bit. I did want to mention the injuries aside for the Panthers. So really, they're pretty healthy, except for their young quarterback, Bryce Young. He's out already. But you'd think, okay, big advantage for the Bills. Andy Dalton, veteran, going to be back there. Andy Dalton's 4-2 against the Buffalo Bills lifetime. However, he's 0-1 against the Josh Allen era. Allen beat him back in, I think it was 2019.
Yeah, 2019.
Right? And Josh threw 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Dalton threw 2 interceptions, 1 touchdown. And it was a pretty close game. I think it was 21-17. So
yeah, that was the game where Knox stiff-armed somebody. He ran someone over and then stiff-armed someone, or stiff-armed someone, then ran somebody over and went for a big gain. I remember that year specifically because that was when my son was born, and the first game home from the hospital was week 1. So it's like he was just a little baby, and we were sitting on the couch, and I couldn't really make noise because he was sleeping while we're watching the games and stuff. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Let me catch up with the chat here a little bit. Of course, we got Brett out there. He's been filling up the channel here. Let's see what we got here. Thanks for filling in for me, of course, sir. 2 spots on the Bills roster. Hairston and Poyer to solidify the secondary. We'll see. Yeah, definitely. And I'm not sure about Poyer. I will be shocked if it's Poyer. I seriously will be shocked if it's Poyer. You're going to take a guy off the practice squad and start him over Cam Lewis. And again, yes, I am Cam Lewis's protector. Cam Lewis deserves to start.
Surprised you don't have a Cam Lewis jersey yet.
I mean, I might get one. I might have to, because I got to show my love and support for this man.
You're the only one besides his own parents probably that support him.
Everybody bringing him down. He's one of the most. I mean, he plays special teams. He can play slot corner. He can play safety. Dude, does it all. And he's been playing extremely well. So let's go. Poyer better not get the start. I'll just be upset. Let me just say that real quick. Poyer, let's see, brought a lot of grit to Buffalo's defense when he came in for rap against the Falcons. Did he? I don't know. Maybe you saw Brad. I didn't see anyone bring any grit against the Falcons.
Walker and Oliver were pretty good.
True. Gotta give them some love. Big issue for Buffalo is their interior defensive line health. Walker, Oliver, and Ogunjobi are the only healthy players. Phillips and Mathis are the only practice squad players who have eligibility. All right. John Roberts saying, do you think Curtis Samuel will be used downfield? My goodness. I hope so. I would hope so. We've always talked about him. He's got the speed. I don't think we've thrown the ball to him. No, he's not been on the field that much. Let's be real. He's only been active for what? This is going to be his second
one game. Yeah.
Right. This will be a second game. Yes. Yes. Loosen up those defenses. Throw the ball deep. Can't remember when we had such a I guess the longest pass I can remember was recent, and that was the one to Palmer, and then he gets hurt in that game. Was he hurt on that play too? Wasn't it that play?
The second catch. The
Second
first play
catch.
was like 45 yards. The second one
Yeah.
was like a 15-yarder, and he got rolled up on. And not to like harp on that game a little bit, but I remember when the Chiefs lost to the Eagles, I think it was week 2 when Worthy got hurt on the first play, and like Nick Wright and a bunch of Chiefs fans were like, "Well, if he was the game plan and he goes out in the first play, it's hard to finish the game because you had your whole weekly planning around him." And I could say the same thing about Palmer because that week I think he was the focal point of our offensive plan, and then he got hurt, and then Kincaid was already out. So again, it's not an excuse, but if you could say it for Kansas City, when Worthy went out, when he was supposed to be the focal point of that week, you could say the same thing for Buffalo, where now you're out 2 of your guys that you thought you were going to use a lot, and now you got to try to change your whole game plan during the game.
Yeah. Brett, yep, Shaq Thompson from Carolina. Again, another motivation right there. Let's see here. Depending if Bernard is healthy and Milano's in there, we'll see how much Shaq Thompson we actually see there. John Robert, you remember? Can't play. Did not know that. Good information. He says, remember on defense, Michael Hoyt can play linebacker if needed.
Yeah.
Man,
He could
I'm
be
all
all over
about
the
big
place.
linebackers. Bring them back. I'm tired of these small linebackers. Don't tell me the game has changed and we go to these smaller guys who are better in coverage. Come on, man. Just look at what the Detroit Lions are doing there with Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell, that's a real linebacker name right there. We talked about him when the year he was drafted, how I wanted him. I wanted the big guy. And then I think, who was I talking to, Sean? Is it the Chiefs that also have a big linebacker as well? Is it Chanel?
You say he's big. I think he's like a normal. I think
I
he's
think
like
so. For some
230 ish.
reason, I felt like he's a little bit bigger. I think Landman, but another great name, linebacker for the Rams, and that's a really good name, Landman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All right, so
I just feel for linebackers now, like, 'cause I mean, obviously we listen to Buffalo stuff all the time. All you hear is, "Oh, our whole team is undersized." But if you really look around the league, and if you just take an average, no defensive lineman is 360. There's like 2 guys that are over 330, I think, on the D line nowadays. The defensive ends are 250, 265, maybe 270 if you're lucky. And then for linebackers, on average, they're 220, 230. Corners are always small, safeties are always small. So it's like you might get a guy that might be 250 as a linebacker. You might get a D tackle that's 335, 325, but it's not commonplace anymore. So it may seem like our whole team's undersized, but if you look around the league, almost every team is kind of built the same way now.
yeah, Leo Chanel, he's like 249 pounds. Come on now, bring that back. Bring back those big linebackers. But is what it is. Yes, John Robert. My God, I think Sean was mentioning that. I hope we get to see the Bills, the running backs out of the backfield more. Use them, especially Cook. I don't think he's touched the ball from a target or even had a target or a catch in the last 2 games. If he has, that hasn't been much. And yeah, you got to get him the ball in space. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm going to check on that because I want to say,
Okay.
week 1 he had that big 50-yard catch that set us up to catch up.
Yeah.
But he maybe caught 2 more passes, I feel like, since then. But I'm curious about that. I'll have it up real quick.
So when Cook runs for at least 100 yards, Bills are 4-0. I love that. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, he's got 12 catches on the year. That's it.
Wow.
James Cook.
What's he had? You don't have the last 2 games.
No, that was just like per season.
Okay.
So he's got 12 catches and 6. So he's averaging 2 catches a game, and it needs to be way higher than that.
Yeah, Big L coming in saying Dalton's a pocket passer. Our pass rush has to be excellent, and Oliver and Ogunjobi have to be absolute game records. I agree, but here's my biggest concern. I don't think they're going to pass the ball a lot. They're a very good running team. They're the 3rd best in the league, averaging 140 yards per game rushing. And they got what they got over there. What's his name? Chuba?
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard and
they got
Rico Dowdle.
The Dowdle's been the one that's been shining. He's got over 500 yards this year. and I think Chuba's got about 250 yards so far this year.
Yeah, he's been
So their running
hurt. Dowdle's had, I think he had 2 games. So, I mean, his whole season's really summed up into 2 games. He had 2 games where he had like 200 rushing yards. So, I think against Dallas he had 200, and another team he had 170 or something crazy like that. So maybe it wasn't Dallas, but he had 200 one of the games and a high 170 another game. So he's looked really good as of late. But last year on Dallas, he barely hit 1,000 yards. He had a couple really good games this year, but I don't think he's not Derrick Henry, he's not Bijan Robinson. So I think, to your point about they are gonna run the football. They ran it over 30 times last week with both of them combined against the Jets. They're going to try to run the football, but if we can make them have to pass with Dalton, yeah, they got some weapons over there too. But I think they might have an injury or two on their O-line. Is Robert Hunt? I know you're looking at injury report. Is Robert Hunt playing yet?
I'm not sure. I don't have that on there.
Oh, okay.
I will do this. So you did make a good point here. All of Dowdle's numbers came in week 2 against Dallas for 183 yards rushing, and then week 3 against the Dolphins for 206 yards rushing. So there's the bulk of it. In the last 4 games, he's gotten just, let's see here, 32 yards, 30 yards, 9 yards, 12 yards. But that might be because maybe Chuba's been getting more play. Let me see what Chuba's been doing. Chuba. Am I saying that right? I hate to say people's names wrong. All right. So Chuba and his, let's see here, his last 3 games, 73 yards, 38 yards, 57 yards rushing. So maybe those numbers are a little inflated. So I feel a little bit better. But we all know if I was an offensive coordinator, I am always focused on trying to beat the Bills with the run because they've been exposed. I mean, they have struggled for years. It's not just this year, and this year it seems even worse. So hopefully that getting some players back really helps that. And if we can shut that down and force them to have to throw the ball, I feel better about our odds. Because like you said, Big Al, he's just a pocket passer, right? If we can force him back throwing the ball and just pin our ears back, we'll get to him. We'll definitely get to him.
It could be good too, Mike.
Yeah.
Shaq Thompson was there as early as last year. So he probably knows how the offensive scheme goes. So if he's out there playing and he sees something, he could call stuff out while he's out there. And I think he should play. He's been our best linebacker. Terrell Bernard's probably not going to play. I mean, he was questionable, but I don't know. Him or Milano aren't going to play. And I think they might want to come out in a 4-3 again, just like they have been the last couple of weeks with the good running backs. But I think it might be an underrated aspect of the game where he will know because he played against this offense every week in practice, and he's been around them for years. So he knows what their tendencies are, what they might do, except for like Dowdle, because I think this was his first year in Carolina. But as far as the play calls, he might remember stuff and be in the right spot at the right time, be able to cheat a little bit. Now, he might not. I'm not going to say he's going to go out there and have a 20 tackle, 3 interception game, but I think it might possibly have an impact on that sense.
Yeah, John, I think he's down a little bit from that 311. So I think at one point he was. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that, to fact check that. But I feel like he's down around the 270s now, but maybe I'm wrong. I do know at one point he was around that big 311.
Yeah, I think you're right because he started off as a D tackle when he got drafted, and then he lost some weight. He might have been bigger than 311 though, so I don't know 100%, but I know he was a D tackle to start his career, and then he moved around in LA. He plays some edge, he plays some linebacker. He's very athletic, so it would make sense if he's around 260, 270, but you might have to double check on that.
Yeah. James Cook has 537 yards rushing in 6 games. Yeah, I mean, we want to use him a lot. Keep using him, and again, get him more touches out of the backfield. I think that catches up with everybody. So
I don't know if you caught it. Sorry, Mike. I just started when he brought up Cook. When we ran the 3rd and 1 end around, they show Cook on the sideline. He's pissed off. He's complaining. He's like, saying stuff under his breath because he probably thought like I should be out there. I wasn't on the field again on a key down, and they ran a stupid play like that and it failed. So you could tell he wants to get out there and earn his money that people said that he didn't deserve. And he only plays 40% of the snaps. Why would you want to pay him $15 million? But now he wants to play even more, and then he's not allowed to play. So you could tell he's frustrated too with I should be in these key situations because that's why they paid me. And now they're doing end arounds on 3rd and 1 when you should have just ran a tush push. But I mean, I
Yeah.
wanted your opinion on this because McDermott was one of the guys that voted to ban the tush push, and ever since that, this year, I think we maybe ran it once, and it's almost like he's putting his personal integrity of a feeling over winning a football game, and if that's what he's doing, if he'd rather, I don't want people to judge me for being a hypocrite instead of trying to win a football game, I'd have to really question him even more than I already do. I don't know how you feel.
It does seem that way. I can see why you might think that, but I got to believe no. I mean, look, he did his best to get it banned, but it was passed. So it's an option. I think, just because it's an option, you got to use it. It's an allowed thing. And so I think he has to put that in the past. It's like, all right, I tried. It's valid. I'm going to use it. I am going to use it because I can. And this team is really good at the tush push, except when they really need it. No, they're really good. I want to just give you some updates in the last 2 games for James Cook. 1 target, 0 receptions against New England, 0 targets, 0 receptions against Atlanta. By the way, let me go back to because my bad. So let's see here. Doughty, because of how they sorted on the site that I'm using, Pro Football Reference, I thought they were going down, but they go up as far as how they sort. So his last 3 games, he's been on fire. 206 against Miami, 183. I thought that was earlier in the season. And he had 79 yards in the game against the Jets. They barely beat the Jets, but hey, we barely beat some teams this year. And there's always tough games. Even though the Jets, that's the only game we dominated, only game. And Fields just isn't the answer there. I think he's been benched, right? They got Tyrod going to be starting this week.
Well, I don't know if it was true or not, but I think Tyrod got hurt in practice, so Fields might have to start again.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
And Sauce and Garrett Wilson are out, so it's going to be a rough game.
All right. Well, let's also talk about November 4th, trade deadline approaching. Bills have not made a move at this point. Are they going to make a move, Sean, or should we just put that behind us and just move on because it's not happening at all?
Well, he has made a move the last 2 years, getting Cooper and who was the Rasul Douglas. Now, I think if he does make a move, it's going to be something where it's not going to make any difference at all. So I don't really want to consider it a move. But a necessary move to help your team win a Super Bowl, no, I don't think we're going to do anything. He's going to say, "Oh, Larry and Michael and Maxwell, those are the trade deadline pickups because they were gone all this time." They're going to say something stupid like that, and we're up against the cap, and we don't have the funds at the moment, and if you want something, you can figure it out. Whether you have to kick the can down the road and suffer a little bit in the future, if you want to do something, you do it. So
right,
I'm just gonna say no. I don't think they're gonna do anything, and they're gonna ride this train. And if it doesn't work out again, they're gonna say the same thing they do every year. We got 17, or whatever they say at their end of the season wrap ups, or we're not satisfied, or things like that. The same old stuff that we always hear.
How surprised would you be if you heard the Bills have brought back Amari Cooper?
It'd be like half, because that's something they would do.
It is
but it's
something
like,
to do.
I wouldn't hate it, but I mean, that's not the move you want to make if you want to win a Super Bowl. It wasn't even that last year. It was helpful, but I don't think he was going to be the reason we won a Super Bowl, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And who knows? I don't even think. I mean, if he wanted to come back, I'm sure his phone has rang a few times. I mean, I know he went with was it the Raiders, and then he retired. But who wouldn't retire if he were on the Raiders?
Yeah.
But if the Bills or somebody called them, he may come back, right? But again, I don't know. He just might be off enjoying the good
Yeah.
years now, right? It's had a long
Mm-hmm.
career, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's the type of thing the Bills do.
Well, we need to do something. And I know John mentioned we don't have much cap, but it's crazy to think about where we have no money ever, but we have no superstars besides Josh Allen. So how do you have nothing and no talent besides, not no talent, but no well-renowned superstar talent besides Josh Allen? Even the Bengals, they got Burrow, 2 wide receivers, and a defensive end. We just have Josh Allen. Yeah, you could say Ed Oliver is an elite player, but he's not looked at in the same vein as Trey Hendrickson or Chris Jones or Quinnen Williams. He's up there with those guys in D tackle, but other teams, whether they're good or not, they have multiple elite superstar talent to show for their no money. We have no money in Josh Allen. So to me, with the situation that we're in, if I'm Josh Allen next year, I'm saying I make so much money outside of football. I probably make more outside of football than I do playing it. My wife is probably richer than me. I want to take a massive pay cut so I can actually bring talent here. But he wants to take $60 million. This is what happens. You have no talent around you, and then now you're struggling to see what's going to happen at the trade deadline because you have no money. But in that sense, you should still trade now, worry later. I would trade all this capital that we could get rid of. I would even overpay for people like Chris his name Chris Olave.
Yeah.
I would even give a first round pick for him, even if he might be worth a second. I give you a first round pick, maybe a third, throw that in there, and then if I can't re-sign him, oh well, I got a use out of him this year. But
Yeah.
you
I
got to try
mean,
to do, if you want to win, you got to do things like that.
100% agree. 100% agree. I'm at a point now where sell out, get us a Super Bowl. And again, everyone says, well, if you sell out and you give up a lot of draft capital, you're going to hurt yourself down the road. Maybe, but the Rams proved that wrong. After they won a Super Bowl, they had maybe one down year, and they were right back at it. And it's been proven. I mean, we've seen it right in front of our faces as far as having a number one receiver, Sean. Drake London goes for 10 for 150 something against us. Was pretty much the only receiver. I think he was the only receiver who caught a freaking ball in that game for the Falcons. We didn't have an answer for it. Steph Diggs, our own guy, who went on to the Patriots, 10 for like 146, just destroyed us. And then look what Joe Flacco does. He goes over to the Bengals, interdivision trade. Boy, was Mike Tomlin a little pissed about that. And he comes over and beats the Steelers. And by having Jamar Chase, was able to target him like 23, 24 times. And Joe Flacco looked like the next coming of Josh Allen. Not Josh Allen, but, Joe Montana. Let's say Joe Montana, because Montana was kind of a pocket passer. But, dude, Flacco was just looking elite. And that's because he had top number one receivers. He's got a couple of them over there.
Yeah.
But we've seen what these number ones can do.
Absolutely. And again, not to just, throw fire on everybody we got, but I really do think Palmer and Samuel and, the guys that we have could be a lot better than what they're showing. But the problem is whether it's Brady or McDermott wanting a philosophy of offense and them not being able to get it, because we've seen this with McDermott. He had it with the problem with Dayball. And then Dorsey was kind of a yes man because he had to, and then he got fired. And then you see all this stuff happening with Brady. You assume he's really intelligent and really smart with play calling, but it's like you have Josh Allen, a quarterback, and then you get into situations like this where you can't even get a first down. So I don't want to just say that these players can't get it done, but if they're not the way you want to do things, you got to try to at least get somebody that can make something happen regardless of whatever situation you're in. But yeah, I mean, like John said, we're 4-2. It's awesome, but our team is looked at as they should be winning Super Bowls by now, not just by us, but by media. That's why we get a lot of hate and criticism thrown at us if we lose a game to the Patriots. Are the Bills frauds? Are the Bills done at 4-1? Because we're looked at as top of the league echelon team. So, I know they got the system, Brady, McDermott. They like Bean. They like where we're at. They want to be competitive. But like you said, Mike, it's year 8 with Josh Allen. We haven't even been to a Super Bowl yet, and you're sitting here wondering, how much better can he get at this point? You know what I mean?
I want to address John's. I brought this up as well because I want to speak to this. People complain the Bills are 4-2. They are 4-2. The teams they have beat, 3 of the teams they have beat, have some ridiculous losing record. They did beat the Ravens when the Ravens were at their best, and that just took an act of God. Honestly, I still don't know how we pulled that one out. We looked pretty brutal the last couple games against teams I would consider not mediocre. They're above average, but they beat us. And then the Falcons beat us. And then who beat them last week? Somebody handled them pretty easily.
The 49ers with a backup quarterback, missing wide receiver 1, 2, and 3, and a hurt defense.
Exactly. So for me, it's not so much complaining. I'm extremely concerned because I've seen this before. I've seen the Bills for over 50 years in my life, and I know what it will take. Sure, get to the playoffs. Fantastic. But this team right now, it's not a team that's going to go deep into the playoffs. They got to fix things. Otherwise, we're going to be heartbroken once again. So call it complaining, call it concerned. It's just because I've seen this pattern so many times in my life. And I want them to go further. And that's the only complaint I have is make some moves that can get you. You've got the quarterback, got the MVP. You've got a great team around him. You're missing really one key player. Again, if we get a number 1 and then things still go bad, then we're talking to Joe Brady. We're walking Joe out the door.
Yeah, I guess real quick before I mention something about that I heard earlier, but for me, I may be more complaining because we should be 6-0 because the Patriots and the Falcons are not a better team. Again, even if you just look at the games we played against them, the Patriots, you could say they played their best game that they could have played, and we played our worst game that we could have played, and we lost by 3. The Falcons game, we were obviously it wasn't going to matter, but we were driving down to score a touchdown with 40 seconds left, and then the ball got tipped and it was intercepted in the red zone. So if that's a touchdown, 21-24, and you go for an onside kick, you probably don't get it. But regardless, we played really bad in that game as well. So playing really, really bad and losing is way different than playing really, really good and losing. Like when we lost to the Rams last year, we played outstanding offensively and they played outstanding offensively. The Rams had the best defensive front in the league last year. They had the most pressures. I think they had up top 5 in sacks, and we shut them down and we dominated them, but we still lost. So I would feel better if we lost that way than the way we lost these last 2 games. So we should be 6-0. Credit to the other teams for playing clean football and winning, but those teams shouldn't have won. They're not the better team statistically or, roster wise, altogether. And then to the point about the number 1, I do want one, but when we had Diggs, we still didn't win. But I think it has to be the right guy and has to be used the right way. Now, if Joe Brady used Diggs the right way and didn't push him out the door and made Diggs want to leave because he was phased out of the offense, who knows where we could be at this point? Because he had guys like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and Justin Jefferson. Now, Diggs isn't them. He's better than T. Higgins. But if he was used the way he tried to utilize them in college, who knows where this offense could be at this point? Yeah. So we don't know.
Sean, I want to talk. Just give me your elevator pitch, your trench talk between these 2 offensive lines because they're both extremely good.
Yeah.
Carolina's got a very good offensive line. If you look at PFF, they're actually better on across the line. average altogether than the Bills. But what's your thoughts? O line versus O line.
Yeah, well, it's tough because I don't know which of their guys are hurt or not. Because the last time I checked, I think they're down Robert Hunt, who just signed a big deal last year from the Dolphins, and I think they're missing another guy. But like you mentioned, even without them, they've been pretty solid this year. Obviously, with run blocking as well. They got a couple guys. The left tackle, Aquanu, he's been there for a while. He's improved dramatically. There's a Panthers podcast I listen to. They're awesome. I've been listening to them for a few years, so it's kind of exciting to play the Panthers because it's like
Yeah.
I listen to them so much and talk about the Panthers players. And yeah, but they got a solid O line. Their D line, they got one really good player. Everybody else is average to below average. Derek Brown, he's a D tackle. He was hurt last year, but man, he's a fierce player to be reckoned with. But I think we have a better advantage on our offensive line to their defensive line than their defensive line has on us. And then it's going to be interesting. I think their O line is going to win a lot. I think our D line is going to win some, but maybe these new guys, Hoyt and Ogunjobi, can make some noise and then make a couple plays here.
Yeah. So defense. Let's talk about that a little bit to go along with some just some numbers here real quick. Carolina is giving up total yards per game only 295.7. Buffalo, and they are top, what's that? Top 7, or number 7 overall. Bills are down there around 15th or 16th, giving up 323.5 yards per game. So, I mean, defensively, they've been performing definitely better than us. So we'll see. Hopefully, with these people coming back, that changes a little bit. So it concerns me. They have a good offensive line. They can run the ball well. That's the only way I see them beaten. I don't see Andy Dalton tearing us apart like I don't know. Do they have a true number 1 over there, Sean? Who's their number 1? Who's their receivers?
Well, yeah, they drafted Tet McMillan from Arizona. I think he was like a top 10 pick.
They got Leggett.
He's not Justin Jefferson, but he's a really good player. They still have Xavier Leggett. They brought back what's his name? That he was a slot receiver for Vegas for so long. Hunter Renfro. I think he's still on the team. Yeah, they got some guys over there.
Okay.
And, like I said, Chuba Hubbard and Dowdle could probably catch a couple out of the backfield. But yeah, they got some weapons there. They got a couple young. They got Coker, Jalen Coker, I think his name is.
Yep.
In the draft, we talked about him. But yeah, they're a young team. Their coach is very, very good. Dave Canales, everybody loves him. He's kind of turned the team around a little bit. And even Bryce, he's handled Bryce really well. Last year, he actually benched Bryce when he was really struggling, but then put him back in after a few games. And then Bryce went on a run last year, and he performed really well. But at the same time, I still think we're a better football team. What does worry me is they're undefeated at home. The Panthers are. So, and they're on a 3-game win streak. So they're at home again. They got the Bills coming to town. They're trying to keep pace with the Bucs in the division because they're only down 1 game now because the Bucs lost to the Lions. So Bucs are 5-2, they're 4-3, and they're looking to take that first place from them. So, but yeah.
Yep. So Xavier Leggett is a guy that I'm looking at. It's a guy that our good friend, Mr. Jake Podger, really wanted. Well, he's one of them, right? He was one of those guys that he wanted. And he's been, slow out of the gate. I think he's had some injuries. But just last game, they fed him. They fed him 11 targets for 9 receptions, 92 yards, and a touchdown. So they've got the weapons, Sean. You made some good points there. They do have good weapons. I think their tight end's pretty decent as well, right? What do you got?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
It's Evans. It's Mitchell Evans.
Mm-hmm. He's all right. And like I said, their defense, their D line isn't that great. Besides Derek Brown, they got a rookie Scorton. He's okay, but he's not going to destroy our tackles or anything. And J.C. Horn's really good, but as Dan Mitchell said, he doesn't travel. He stays on one side, so you could put a unfavorable matchup on him, knowing that he's not going to get the football, and then have your best receiver on a different corner. but they don't turn the ball over much. They don't get pressure much. They don't get sacks much. But I think they're a decently well put together defense. Their defensive coordinator Evero, he's taken a lot of heat from the fan base the last couple of years, but this year, the people I listen to at least, they're starting to come around on him and believe in his philosophy. But yeah, this, like I said, they still don't turn the ball over much, and then nope, they have one of the worst pressure rates in the league. So we should have good opportunities, but stay away from J.C. Horn and just make sure you're watching Derek Brown.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was going to be the next segment, like key players to watch on both teams. But let's get into it because you mentioned some of those guys. I don't think we need to talk anymore about that. But let's get into it, Sean. Keys to a Bills victory. Lay it out for us. What has to happen for the Buffalo Bills to win this game?
Well, like I always say with Brett, got to win up front. That's normal. Every team has to. That's our strength to our team besides Josh. So definitely win up front. Oh, just rattle them off now, or did you want to?
Yep. Nope. Go. Give me the whole layout.
Okay.
Break it down.
I'll just kind of do a speed run.
The
So
floor is yours.
make sure Cook gets the football in the receiving game as well. Don't throw guys like Ty Johnson and Ray Davis in more than Cook because everyone's got to play. Everybody's got to roll. Just play your best players and win the football game. Don't handcuff Josh. Let him play his game that makes him comfortable. Let him run the offense that he wants to run. Do your best to mitigate the run. You don't have to stop it. It's impossible to just keep someone to 0 rushing yards, but force them in long distances, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 5. So they have to go away from it and pass. And I think we should stay in man defense because, Andy Dalton can shred his own defense up, but he's probably not going to run the football. He might a little bit, but I'd rather him run the football on us and maybe break a long run than him just sit back there and throw 20-yard passes in between his zone all day. So, yeah, that probably play man and then just stop with the penalties, 10 penalties on average the last 3 games. It's a correlation of why we lost. Penalties, turning the ball over that you shouldn't have, and just bad play calling. And then just seeing John's comment about Johnson only getting 2 passes. When people say like Cook isn't a third down back, like I don't want these guys in on third down to block. I want Ty Johnson and Cook on third down to catch a pass because if it's a third down and it's a third down and short, you shouldn't be wanting a running back to pass protect on a blitz because the ball should just be out quick to your playmakers, which Josh didn't do the last couple of weeks, and he took a lot of blitzes and sacks and made everybody look bad. So get these guys out there. If you are going to put Ty Johnson in instead of Cook, don't let him pass block. Just pass him the football and let him do something with it because it didn't help pass blocking last week.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I read or heard that the Bills have the biggest blitz rate against them currently this year. I mean, everyone's just blitzing the hell out of the Buffalo Bills because they don't respect our passing game at all.
Yeah, definitely the last 2 weeks. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everyone's going to keep watching that blueprint and keep following that blueprint until something changes. All right, awesome. I'd love to hear everyone's predictions. I'm not going to ask you for your prediction because you don't give them. And I know you're going to say the Bills should win this game. But while we're waiting for people to put their predictions in the channel, do you know who holds the all-time series between these two teams? Who's gotten the better of who?
I'm just going to say Carolina.
You are wrong. You are absolutely wrong. The Panthers are 2-6 against the Buffalo Bills all time. Crazy.
There'd be more matchups.
Yeah, I thought so too initially when I researched it. I want everyone to make a bold prediction. I see John starting it off for us. He says, let me see. Did he say something here? I thought he did. All right, let's make some bold predictions.
He said Shavers gets a touchdown.
Yeah, I would love to see Shavers. I would love to see Shavers get involved more. I think he's another guy. Again, there's a lot of good players on that offense. They're just not using them right. We talked about this on our phone call yesterday, Sean, about those 50-50 balls to Coleman, right? They're not 50-50 balls at all. They're just throwing like he's running down the sideline, he's covered, and they just throw it pretty much just level.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah, so
Easy
that's not
play.
on him at all. You know,
If you're
like you
going to
said.
throw it for a 50-50, get the ball high. Come on, man. Get it up high. That's what he's for. Want to see him get the ball. He's got to change things. Shakir, I don't know. Shakir must be getting most of the coverage. I haven't watched a lot of film, but it feels like nobody's able to get open downfield, or they are, and then Josh is just not. He's just running before he throws the ball. So it's kind of strange. But bold predictions for you, Sean. Give me a couple. You don't have to talk about the win. Give me something. Give me some breakout predictions this week. Give me two.
Well, I'm not just saying this because I want my quarterback to be good and have him in fantasy, but he needs to get back to what he was doing the last 20-something games, and then just have a all-out game and just get 5 touchdown passes. Or we'll just say 5 total
Ooh.
touchdowns.
All
4
right, yeah.
touchdown passes, 1 rushing. But he needs to really – I'm tired of all this like what I'm seeing, like him and Dawkins saying that winning isn't everything. They don't need to win a Super Bowl. My grandma wants me to smile. No, you shouldn't smile when you lose and when you stink. I know she loves you, but you can only smile when you do good. So I'm tired of all this. Like I want the fiery Josh, like in the Chiefs playoff game where he's yelling in people's faces thinking that they won the game when they should have. Don't just sulk on the bench. Be up with the guys. Be motivated. You know, if you're doing bad, try to put it behind you and don't take it back to the field with you. So yeah, if smiling more because your grandma told you to makes you feel better, do that. But the last 2-week Josh, that needs to never show up again for the rest of the year. I need the first 4-week Josh, and again, I think that could start with allowing him to run an offense where like maybe Brady says something, but Josh knows all the plays. Let him run how he wants to, and then I'll say Ed Oliver gets 2.5 sacks.
Ooh, big numbers there. Big numbers against a decent O-line. That would be amazing.
I'm
I think
assuming
it could
also
happen.
that Robert Hunt isn't playing because I haven't heard that he is. So I'm going to
Yeah,
say
I'm not seeing. Let me see.
even with Robert Hunt playing, I think Ed Oliver is going to be good.
Let me take a look at Hunt here. You're saying.
But while you're looking, you know, I've been thinking about it because everybody always talks about it. I'd be really disheartened if the reason why our offense has been kind of the way it has the last couple of years, even though it worked last year, is because McDermott wants it a certain way. And when I hear people like the conspiracy, it kind of makes sense. You know, he wants to put his defense in better positions. He wants to not turn the ball over. He wants to, run the ball out and end games in that fashion. He's not a air raid type of coach, but it's like if Allen's not comfortable with his style and he has games like this where he gets frustrated, why won't you allow the people you hire to be play callers do their job? Like you don't know anything about offense. Well, you probably do, but you're not an offensive guy. It's like when I was in the service and my captain of my company, when I got my foot surgery, he told the doctor that recommended I get 30 days off for my foot injury. He told the doctor he only needs 14. And it's like he had no medical background. He's an infantry officer. But because he's an officer, the surgeon was like, okay, we'll change it to 14. And it's like the micromanaging, the BS, like that's not how you run stuff. So I really hope that's not true. But the more I hear about it, the more I feel like McDermott just wants ultimate control and the way he wants things to be done. And I don't like that.
If I'm a head coach, Sean, I'm taking total control. I'm sorry.
Even if it's not working?
If it's not, I don't think it's working because he's not taking total control. I think it's working because he is not taking total control right now. But to your point, Robert Hunt's on IR.
Okay, yeah. So he's out, but even with him out, like I said, Mike, they've been pretty good. So
yes, they have been good.
Regardless of him being out. But I think at Oliver, I mean, last week he had a sack and he made a couple tackles and got some pressure. So even with all that long break and having to play extra with Daquan Jones going out, he still produced. So I see a big day from him, and
yeah.
Unfortunately, Landon Jackson's probably not going to be active again.
Hey,
for a while.
Hey. What's wrong with you, Sean? What's wrong with you?
They got to get these guys coming back on the roster.
Don't you dare. So I agree with like some of the bold predictions. I like Cook is going to get fed, Weston. And I think John Robert, you're going to see him over 100 yards. I would agree with that. I think you'll see at least 4 Let's give you the over-under. Over-under 4 targets to James Cook this week. Sean, what do you think? Over or under?
I'll say under this week, but not because they're being dumb. I just think hopefully this game isn't to the point where you have to keep doing that. I think we're going to be good other places. Like Cook's going to run the ball really well, and then the receivers are actually going to do something this game where we're going to be up by a lot, and then we're already dominating. So maybe Cook doesn't have to get all these passes out of the backfield, but I think it'd be nice to get more than 4. But I just got a feeling it maybe like 3 or 2. Might catch a couple. But I just think it's going to be a different type of game. And next week, for sure, I want him to get more than 4. But
yeah, so everyone's talking about sacks. I mean, based on your sacks, John, and Sean's 2.5 for Oliver, we should have about 6 sacks this game, 6 or 7 sacks. I love it, and it can be done. We got pocket passer Andy Dalton back there.
Yeah,
nice. My bold predictions, I already said 1. Cam Lewis starts. Cam Lewis gets an interception. That's a new one. That's a new bold prediction. I also say Maxwell Hairston sees the field for between 10 and 16 snaps, gets an interception. Those are my bold ones. Let's go. Nice Jackson, he's activated this game. I feel like
that would be a bold one.
That would be really, really bold.
Yeah. But I mean, sure. to be fair, he wasn't bad or good in those games that he played when I was doing I'm sure someone could find like, oh, he was absolutely horrible. But just from my trained eye, I didn't see anything where I was like, he doesn't belong on the field. So that's promising. And then now he'll be able to, he got some game reps in him. He'll be able to continue to learn and we'll see what happens.
Everything, I watched him closely for as many times I could see him on the field. And every time he was on the field, they seemed to go the other way from him. Either it was a quick pass or the running play was to the left when he's lined up on the right or vice versa. I didn't see anything where he missed a tackle. I didn't see anything where he seemed out of place. Yep. But yes, he hasn't showed up on the stat line. But that doesn't necessarily mean you're playing bad at all.
Right.
And then here, cut cam. I got to tell you, I don't know how much Trek Reviewer is paying you, Weston, but Trek Reviewer seems to have everybody aboard on this thing here, and I just can't take it anymore. I'm just telling you.
Well, if
no.
I don't hate Cam, but
what?
I don't hate Cam, but there's been a couple plays this year that were really big plays because of him that he missed. But he made a good play and at the same time failed last week because he had a nice pass breakup, but it should have been an interception. Really, really in our own field position, or we could have set us up for a good score. But he tipped it, dropped it, and they punted it. But that could have been a pick. But it was still a good play, but it could have been an even better play.
Well, Shaq Lawson had one right in his hands at the end of the game.
Yeah. They both did that. Pick 6. That could have been 6. That could have been a touchdown.
That should have been, right? That was right there. He's coming up. Take that to the house. Let's go.
That one was even worse. That was worse because it was even more wide open. And, man, he just dropped it. But
yeah. Brutal. Made the read. Had it read. Had it played perfectly. Had it covered. Yeah, Maxwell Hairston. We've kind of been saying that, John. We're thinking somewhere between 10 and 16 snaps. If he plays, it's been limited all week. And I think Matt Perino posted something on their chat, their text chat, that they asked McDermott if he was going to see the field. McDermott was kind of a little quiet about it. He says, we'll see. So I don't know. Yeah. That gives me hope. We'll see him.
Another thing, too, Mike, we need to start forcing turnovers again and not turning it over.
Yes.
Now, it's not characteristic of us to turn a football over, but like the stupid end around fumble, the couple picks that Josh threw that were, I think out of his 4, one of them was an actual good play, and the other 3 were just, one of them was tipped when the game was over, and the other 2 were just boneheaded decisions. So cut that crap out, and then get to turn the ball over again. And then it's just brings life into the game when you force a turnover.
So Weston predicting hot take: Poirier forces a turnover. I don't know how he's going to get a turnover. He's not going to be starting or playing much. So that's a bold prediction. You bet that one, you might win some big money. Let's just say that right now. Come on. I don't know why you guys think Poirier all of a sudden is going to get a starting gig when he's been on our practice squad. How do you even come up with that? That's just insane to me.
How about this? If Poirier starts, Mike has to donate a jersey to somebody in the chat.
I don't know about the chat, but we're thinking already about donating a jersey and a future show, Christmas show. Well, we'll find out more to come on that one. But yeah, I don't know. What should I do here? If you're saying if Poirier starts, or what was the
maybe
bet?
not a jersey if Poirier starts, but if Poirier starts, maybe like I don't know, something little like a T-shirt. Just because you're so sure that he's not.
I'm so sure. I am. I will get a little helmet of Jordan Poirier because you can get those for about $1.99 now. I have an autograph one back here of Jim Kelly, those little mini helmets. That's worth something. Jordan Poirier, I'm gonna get for $2. Now, Jordan, I love you. Many great years, but time has passed you by. Dolphins wasn't a good look, my friend. But anyhow,
I got to do one for Jake quick, Mike, before we head out.
Yeah.
Either a Jackson Hawes or a Reggie Gilliam receiving touchdown.
Oh, there we go. I mean, Hawes, I see the Hawes one potentially for sure happening. Gilliam, man, that would be interesting. If you hit them both, watch out.
Yeah.
And there we go. Here's a big prediction. Yeah,
Browns
have been playing pretty good ball.
Yeah, and then the Patriots fans can get back down to earth for a bit. And I noticed that it seems like every year in the beginning, either the Dolphins or the Patriots, they get a little bit ahead earlier in the year, and then everyone's like, "Oh, the Bills are done. This team is now the new team in the AFC East," and then it ends up not being that way. Like the one time when the Dolphins beat us in Miami when we had 600 yards of offense, and Dorsey broke the tablet. They won by 2. They were 3-0. We were 2-1. Oh, Miami's got the division, and then we won it by a lot. Then another year when the Patriots beat us in the monsoon game, 14-10, when they threw 2 passes. Oh, the Patriots are back, and then we beat them by 50 in the playoffs and never scored a touchdown every drive. And now it's the same thing. The Patriots beat all bad teams. They beat even worse teams than we did, besides us. But now everyone wants to say they're back and they're a dynasty again. And Dave Portnoy's finally posting about the Patriots again. Julian Edelman's on podcast on ESPN saying that, we're not the little brother anymore. It's our division. It's like, you won 6 Super Bowls. You should know by now the division isn't decided in week 7. So, I mean, it'd be nice to have them lose to the Browns. We'll just say that. And if we win.
It makes for good TV when they say those things, or good shows, right? They love to get those people fired up with those type of takes.
For sure.
Listen, I would like to hear. There's a new feature on StreamYard. I'm actually using it right now. It actually shows the chat right on the screen. I'm curious, how does that present to you guys? Is that readable? Is it show up okay? I'm not even sure. So I'm just curious how that looks. Anyhow, Sean, let's call it a night. It's been a lot of fun. Bill's going to get a win this week. I didn't put my prediction out there. I'm like you. I don't like to predict the score anymore. Bills will get the win.
Well, let's just say this, Mike.
Yeah.
They lost 2 in a row. They had a bye week where they could have a come to Jesus moment. And you know that if you lose this game, the 1 seed is probably definitely out of the picture with how good the Colts are playing. And if you lose this game, you're in real danger of losing 4 in a row and being out of the division for quite a while until maybe you can catch up in week 15 when you play them. So if you need any other reason to play your best football, then I don't know what kind of team we got. So if they don't come out here and they absolutely come out with juice and energy and the kill mentality, then I don't know what to say anymore. They shouldn't need anything to win to get pumped up for this game.
Yeah, it won't be a very nice post game for sure if we lose that game. And finally, we'll end it here. Do you think Zion Logue is called up? I personally don't, but what do you think, Sean?
Well, Well, we got to bring somebody because, like Brett mentioned earlier, we only have 3 defensive tackles. So Phillips sucks. He's been horrible, and we're 0-2 with Phillips playing, so I don't think we'll call him up. Fedarian Mathis, he hasn't been horrible, but I think out of all the guys we have left, I think Zion's the better of the guys. And then like we can always put, even if he's on the roster for the game, you don't have to play him a lot. You can still put Hoyt at D tackle once in a while with Rousseau at edge and Bosa at edge with Oliver, or you could even put him at linebacker. You could do all the things you want to do, but I think Glaug's probably the best option to call up for this situation. But if Jones is going to be out for a while, I would like to scour the free agency practice squad to maybe bring another D tackle that could be a little bit better than any of those guys for the future.
They'll find somebody sitting out there on the couch.
Yeah.
What was that linebacker, AJ Klein, that we used to bring back time
Oh,
after
yeah.
time? Then we found that big dude. Was it last year or 2 years ago that he was retired? Forget, it was a defensive tackle, I think. Forget who he was. But yeah, all right, let's go. You know who else can play D tackle because he can play everywhere? Cam Lewis. Put him on the line.
Yeah.
All right, guys, let's go. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks, Sean. We'll see you all on the post game for a victory celebration come Sunday. See y'all. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Take care. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
One sec. There we go.